Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's funny to tears. You know, some days you wake up, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and you think, today is going to be a good day. I had one of those mornings. I felt productive. I felt energized. I felt like I could conquer the world. And what's the first step to conquering the world? A giant, steaming mug of coffee, of course. The elixir of life. The nectar of the gods. The one thing standing between me and being a functional human being. So I brew my perfect cup. The aroma fills the kitchen, it's dark, it's rich, it's everything a coffee should be. I add just a splash of cream. Watch it swirl into a beautiful caramel-colored masterpiece. This isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. I take my precious mug ready to start my day and I head over to my desk. My brand new, pristine white desk that I just assembled last weekend. You see where this is going, don't you? Of course you do. You're smart. I, on the other hand, was blissfully ignorant of the impending doom. I sit down, place the mug on the coaster, because I'm a responsible adult, you see, and I open my laptop. Emails, deadlines, the usual chorus of digital demands. I take a sip. It's perfect. Life is good. I lean back in my chair, stretching like a cat in a sunbeam, feeling utterly content. And then it happens. In a moment of pure, unadulterated clumsiness, my elbow, which apparently has a mind of its own and a personal vendetta against my happiness, decides to swing out with the grace of a charging rhino. Time slowed down. I saw the mug tilt, a slow-motion ballet of disaster. I saw the dark liquid arc through the air, a perfect brown wave cresting over the edge. It was almost beautiful, in a horrifying, apocalyptic sort of way. It landed with a splash that sounded like a miniature tsunami crashing onto the shore of my new desk. A brown sea of caffeinated despair spread rapidly across the stark white surface, consuming everything in its path. My keyboard, my mousepad, a stack of very important and now very soggy papers. For a solid 10 seconds, I just stared. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I was just frozen, witnessing the crime scene. My brain was trying to process the sheer magnitude of the failure. It was like watching a nature documentary where the gazelle gets caught. I was the gazelle. The coffee was the lion. And my morning was the Serengeti. There was a moment of profound silence, broken only by the gentle drip, drip, drip of coffee seeping into the soul of my keyboard. My first thought wasn't, oh no, my work, or my new desk is ruined. No. My first thought, my most primal, gut-wrenching thought was, my coffee, my beautiful, perfect coffee is gone. The sense of loss was immediate and devastating. All that potential, all that energy, all that morning joy, now a sticky brown puddle mocking me from my desk. It was a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions. To spill or not to spill, that was the question, and my elbow had answered it with a resounding, yes, spill. Then phase 2 kicked in. Frantic panic. I leaped up, grabbing for... What? What do you even grab in a situation like this? A towel? A sponge? A time machine? I started dabbing pathetically at the mess with a single lonely napkin that stood no chance. It was like trying to bail out the Titanic with a teaspoon. The napkin disintegrated almost instantly, leaving behind a pulpy, coffee-soaked mush. My keyboard was making sad, gurgling noises. I think it was crying. Or maybe that was me. I held the keyboard upside down and a waterfall of coffee poured out. It was a horrifying yet strangely mesmerizing sight. The little chiclet keys, once so pristine, were now swimming in a latte-colored soup. I knew with a sinking feeling that the G and H keys would probably be sticky forever. Every time I type ghost, it's going to sound like I'm stepping on a piece of old tape. This wasn't just a spill. It was a long-term commitment to a slightly dysfunctional keyboard. And the smell. The beautiful aroma of fresh coffee had transformed into the smell of defeat. It's a very specific scent, a mix of burnt sugar, disappointment, and the faint electronic tang of dying technology. It permeated the room. I felt like I needed to put up a sign. Scene of the great coffee spill of this year. We will rebuild. But I knew it was a lie. You can clean up the liquid, but you can never truly clean up the memory. That white desk will forever bear the phantom stain of my failure. As I was on my hands and knees wiping up the last of the sticky residue, a thought occurred to me. This isn't the first time this has happened. Oh no. This is, and I'm not exaggerating, probably the fourth time this year. I am a serial coffee spiller. It's my superpower. I could be sitting perfectly still in a padded room with a sippy cup, and I would still somehow manage to create a coffee-based natural disaster. My friends have started calling me the spiller. I think they're only half joking. Remember that time I was at that fancy cafe? The one with the minimalist white furniture and the serious-looking baristas? I was trying to be sophisticated, holding my tiny cup of espresso. I went to make a grand intellectual point in a conversation, gestured with my hand, and sent that little cup flying. It landed directly in the lap of a woman wearing cream-colored linen pants. The look on her face was a mixture of shock, fury, and a deep existential sadness. I just wanted the floor to swallow me whole. I think I mumbled an apology and sprinted out of there, leaving my friend to handle the diplomatic fallout. Or the time in the car. I had a travel mug, a supposedly spill-proof travel mug. The lid was on tight, everything was secure. I hit a small pothole, not a crater, just a little bump in the road, and the lid popped off like a champagne cork. Hot coffee erupted like a volcano, showering the entire dashboard, the windshield, and me. It looked like a scene from a horror movie if the monster was a grande Americano. I had to drive the rest of the way with one hand on the wheel, and the other trying to see through a brown-streaked windshield, smelling like a coffee shop that had been in a terrible accident. So here I am, standing in my office, which now smells faintly of a burnt-out Starbucks. My keyboard is resting in a bowl of rice, which is the universal sign for, I've made a terrible mistake. My desk is clean, but I know the truth. It's scarred. We're both scarred. And the most ridiculous part? After all that, after the cleaning, the despair, the moment of silent reflection on my life choices, I went back to the kitchen and made another cup of coffee. Because what else was I going to do? Admit defeat? Never. I am a coffee enthusiast, a coffee warrior. And if being a warrior means occasionally losing a battle against a ceramic mug and the laws of physics, then so be it. I will spill, I will clean, and I will brew again. It's a vicious, caffeinated cycle. Maybe I should just start drinking my coffee in the shower. Or maybe I should invest in one of those baby-proof cups with the weighted bottom. But where's the thrill in that? Where's the story? So if you ever see me out in public with a cup of coffee, maybe give me a wide berth, for your own safety, or at least don't wear white pants. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to my tale of woe and caffeine. It really is funny to tears, isn't it? If you enjoyed this story or can relate to my chronic clumsiness, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next disaster. Until next time, try to keep your coffee in the cup. Bye, everyone.